You ever meet Richard Roper?
Roper's a world-class arms dealer.
He's the worst man in the world.
No. Just to answer really short, no, I don't. I mean, you look at I mean, I did look at quite a lot of spy things, but I also wanted it to have a real sort of character-driven element. So no, we weren't really looking at anything specific. Well, it was optioned in 1993, and and there was made a few attempts to make a feature film out of it. And I think what made this real was the fact that it was a television series, that it was not just 2 hours, that it was like a longer piece of storytelling, which then could be way more complex. And in the attempt to, I mean, it's been updated, so it's now taking place in present time as opposed to in the 90s. And it's also been moved geographically, and, the character of Bier, which in the novel is a man, is in the television series a woman, played by Olivia Colman. So there's been made some quite distinct decisions in terms of updating and in terms of transforming it into a television series. But we've all been adamant to maintain the heart of the novel.
I want to put you inside this operation.
Welcome to the family.
Well, I think they're perfect. I mean, Tom Hiddleston and Hugh Laurie was involved before I got involved, or more or less at the same time. And they part of what excited me about the project was the fact that the trinity between John le Carré, Hugh Laurie, Tom Hiddleston, I just thought was irresistible. And then we got an amazing rest of cast, which is just we've just been incredibly fortunate.
Who are you?
Someone's been prying into my affair.
Well, I mean, the novel, I remember I read the novel when it came out, and I remember being so intrigued by the cat and mouse game between Richard Roper and Jonathan Pine, who was played by Hugh Laurie and Tom Hiddleston. And part of what I was so keen about with the television series was to maintain that sort of playful seduction by the two men. It's a kind of weird love story between two men. Totally not in a sexual way, but in a sort of mental love story where they each seduce each other and each are incredibly dangerous for each other. And that cat and mouse game was just very, very intriguing. Well, I think in a way the locations are players on their own. I mean, they can be characters. And particularly Richard Roper's villa. We were very, very keen to find the villa of Richard Roper because that villa sort of represents his world. And it was an intriguing and it was a challenging exercise, but no one had any doubt that was like the most important part in terms of the physical production, was finding those locations. So they had that lavishness and that sense of richness which this world needs to have. I mean, I think in a way the biggest challenge is the sort of how you get Jonathan Pine and how you get the audience seduced into the world of Richard Roper. Because it's a kind of like he's the worst man in the world, and yet he's the one whom you want seated next to you at a dinner. He's the one you want to be in his world. I want to be in his world. Jonathan Pine want to be in his world. And yet it's a world of weapons dealing. It's a world of it's a very cynical, bad world. and it's super attractive. And I think getting that balance right and seducing audience and Jonathan Pine into that sort of world is probably the biggest challenge.